Ready? All right, call the meeting to order. Jen, you want to take a roll call, please?
Commissioner Dozer?
Here.
Commissioner Erickson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldron? Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Here. Okay, you have attached the minutes from the March 31st meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 31st.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You have tonight's agenda in front of you. Are there any additions or corrections?
I'll move to approve the agenda as submitted. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence. You have the March building permit report attached to your packet.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the March building permit report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under old business, it's not quite 5:35, but I don't see anyone else. Well, I was going to say I didn't see anybody else rushing into the building, but then I did.
Go down and do 7 and 8 on the agenda.
We can do 7 and 8 in that, jump down there and then come back at 5:35. That way if someone comes in, we don't miss it. Number 7, appoint Darren Swenson to the Water Advisory Committee to replace Arnie Balzer, who, thanked for being on the committee, but he said he felt that this was going to be a longer drawn out than what he was really ready for. And Darren Swenson called and said that he would like to be on the committee, and I spent time visiting with him. And so at this point in time, and that we're asking that he be appointed to the Water Advisory Committee.
Make a motion to appoint Darren Swenson to the Water Advisory Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And under personnel issues here, and that Jennifer had something that she wanted to discuss. Bob, were you going to mention on that? No?
I just sent the email off to let everybody know.
Okay, sent the email out. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the personnel recommendations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now, seeing that it's just a few seconds away from 5:35, hearing upon the petition for the vacation of the street, which is Olive Avenue, and we have addressed this before. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to that? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward here to number 1. Authorize the mayor to sign a perpetual drainage structure easement agreement with Thomas R. Johnson, which also relates to the vacation of Olive Avenue, correct? Okay. Any discussion?
I can talk just talk
Okay.
about it briefly, Mayor, if that's all right.
Very good.
Basically, related to the item, the hearing that was under old business, item 1, and the 2 items under new business, number 2 and 3, actually number 2 only, regarding the vacation of the street. There's some storm sewer upstream, if you will, of that, of the storm sewer that's in place in the Olive Avenue right-of-way. There's storm sewer upstream that actually extends underneath of this building, north of Olive Avenue, and does cross the railroad tracks and takes some water from the north side of the railroad tracks. And so we thought, since we're dealing with Olive Avenue, and we would also just try to deal with this issue at the same time and get something in writing as far as an easement related to that, because we did look at the courthouse and we didn't see that we had anything on record for that. And so you see in the agreement that we were able, in the agenda packet, that we were able to visit with Mr. Johnson and Ms. Aftedal, and we were able to come to a draft of an easement that seems acceptable. And since it does require something, so to speak, of the city in the case of disturbing facilities there, we thought it would be appropriate to submit it for the city to approve as well. And David worked quite a bit on this as well. Did I miss anything, David, on that?
No, I agree that lease has been, or excuse me, the easement's been looked at by both parties. I think we've agreed on reasonable language and accommodations. I think it's appropriate. I would recommend it being approved tonight.
Very good.
And with that, I would make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the perpetual drainage structure easement agreement with Thomas Johnson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I would like the record to reflect that I abstained from any action on that, as our office has been assisting Mr. Johnson with these matters.
Very good, thank you. Number 2, resolution number 2014-2, vacate a portion of a street, which is the same Olive Avenue and that we've been discussing. Are there any further discussions on that?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2014-2, vacate a portion of a street, Olive Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2014-3, approving a plat. Chad, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I could
to
add
that
a little bit
discussion?
to this. This is a plat that Julie Gross had talked to me about putting on the agenda. It is a replatting of what is referred to as Lot 4D of Block 1 of Lakeview Industrial Park. And replattings don't have to go before the Planning Commission. It's been reviewed at one point with the original plat, and everything appears to be in order. And I would recommend approval of the resolution, which thereby approves the plat.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2014-3, approving the plat.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, authorize the mayor to sign the utility evaluation update agreement with Banner Associates. Again, I'll ask Chad.
Sure, I can talk a little bit to that. This agreement that was received by Banner Associates does a number of things. In summary, and we're trying to utilize what they're doing to update this 1991 study that was accomplished, which will try to identify some system vulnerabilities related to our well fields and otherwise for our water supply system. We're also trying to but to plan for areas identified in the comprehensive plan where there is a plan for industrial growth. We don't have facilities to those, but we're trying to be able to have available information to know what the costs would be for either the applicant, if you will, somebody trying to expand in those areas, or the city to expand or their infrastructure to those, to provide up to 500,000 and 1 million gallons of water or sewer treatment at those locations as well. Again, I mentioned we'll update the 1991 study that did, among other things, compare different alternative water sources. I know Lewis and Clark is something that the city's part of right now, but there's also been some recent discussions related, among other things, to the vulnerability of having interconnections with other water systems, or perhaps having some wells not in the immediate vicinity of our current wells to mitigate impacts from drought, from drawdown, but also to mitigate any concerns with contamination, should that happen to our current aquifer. We wouldn't have any other sources for that. A couple other things that I'm trying to just hit the high points. Of course, the agreement has those, the particulars. We wanted to try to quantify our limiting capacities to our existing facilities. What I mean by that would be, as some of you may be aware, we have issues at times with inflow and infiltration. That's water entering the sanitary sewer system with improper connections through the storm sewer system or through foundation drains and such like that, and in some cases drain tiles or sump pumps. And those things greatly, they take up the capacity of that system, and in some cases charge the system and cause backups into the sewer. We want to try to continue to identify, get our arms around the issues there so we can identify the costs and the lost capacity, if you will, that we don't have for other infrastructure expansions there. That was just an example. But then another item that we look to try to do is we often get questions or queries to either Fred's department or mine from industries that have come through talking with LAIC or directly to determine what the capacity is for water, what the capacity is for sewer available at a particular location. And so then we have to go through at that time a series of analysis, sometimes including Banner, sometimes working with Kim's or Fred's staff to find out what our plant capacity is at that particular location. What is the capacity of our IP cells, our infiltration and percolation cells to handle the flows when we're not experiencing the high water events, because in that case we have to bypass even to our holding pond. And then again to get some comparisons for our water source alternatives, Lewis and Clark or some of these other things like that. Fred and I had talked with Mr. Odens here, who submitted this. He was the author of the original plan in 1991 and worked to refine this to try to identify some scopes of services that we need so as not to accomplish some efforts and put energy and time and money towards efforts not needed. But we feel this would be a useful document to be able to have to answer a numerous number of questions, like I tried to articulate there, not very well. Fred, is there anything that I missed?
We took this to the Water Advisory Board and actually sat and briefed in depth on this. They recommended that we enter into this agreement. It also gives them, as Chad referred to, a little better look at alternatives as far as water supplies. And Chad is right, we do get a lot of inquiries as far as businesses looking to move here, and they want to know what we can provide them with water and what we can provide them with sewer. And there's times the answer is we can't fulfill your needs, but it just depends on what the business happens to be. So we really feel that this is a useful document, and we would recommend that the commission authorize to sign the agreement with Banner.
Well, and from the other standpoint too, in part of our discussion on this, and that dealt with, when we had our water incident here earlier in the year, and that we do not have an alternative secondary source. So right now, currently, we are an island, and this here will help us address some of those questions, also, for the Water Advisory Committee, so.
Will you address the funding source too for me, please?
Yes, funding for this, I think it's recommended at a little over $21,000. Earlier in the year, prior to starting the water treatment plant upgrade, this commission basically authorized the use of about $150,000 out of the well treatment reserve fund. I would ask that the $22,000 or the cost of this.
$21,750.
Right.
Yeah, would be that you would authorize the use of those funds out of that particular line item. That we can do that. The hope is that the amount of contingency money we put toward the water treatment plant is not going to they won't use that full $150,000. No one would. So far, I think we're only into about $8,000 to $9,000 of that, so it's not a bad thing. So that fund will is projected to have more in it than we've actually authorized to take out of it. So I think we'll be safe in authorizing the use of that money for that. So it'd be coming out of the well treatment reserve fund.
And if you would just make that part of the motion?
Yep,
please,
I will, I will move to authorize the mayor to sign utility evaluation update agreement with Banner and Associates in an amount not to exceed $21,750, funding source to be coming out of the well reserve,
Well treatment fund.
well treatment fund, yep,
Right, well treatment reserve.
Well treatment reserve.
yep.
Thank you.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bid number 823, review and award bid for the Water Main Improvement Project 2014-2. Fred or Chad?
Yes, I can talk about that.
Okay.
We had open bids for the 2014-2 water main improvement project. And a bid tabulation was included in your packet. There was a good number of bidders. We had 8 bidders, very pleased about that. Prunty Construction out of Brookings, South Dakota was the low bidder at $267,361.86. That is within what our anticipated budgeting numbers were, and also below the engineer's estimate. With that information, I can elaborate as necessary, but I would recommend that the commission award this to Prunty Construction from Brookings, South Dakota.
Engineer's estimate was shown as 276,000,
Correct.
so we're about 9,000 below.
Right. Included in the budgeting process, sort of our long-range numbers was about 283. So I'm a little more.
Yeah, it's even less than, yeah, I was thinking it was, our estimate was higher than the engineers.
Yes. So that's a good thing.
Is this second penny?
This would be funded from the second.
Second penny.
Correct. And as you know, every year, there are funds that come from both the water and the sewer fund into the second penny for these projects.
Any further discussion?
I would make a motion to award bid number 823 for Water Main Improvement Project 2014-2 to Prunty Construction of Brookings, South Dakota in the amount of $267,361.86.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bid number 825, approve specifications and set the bid date to the construction of the residential underground electric service. Okay. Chad, Dennis?
Basically gonna be the same type of project as we did last year.
Mhm.
We pretty much finish up this, southwest corner of town, the overhead switched to underground.
Can I get it switched to the southeast before I get off?
I think that project will probably just die.
I think we're pretty good in the southeast part of town, is that? Mine's buried.
Just remember, don't touch down power lines.
Yeah, that's probably good.
You may recall that we had opened bids recently for the materials component of this, and then this would be for hiring a contractor to install those materials
Right. And that's all funded through our
through the electric.
electric fund that we've set up
Correct.
for
yeah.
that.
I believe included in the budget is about $520,000.
Yeah,
After opening the bids for the materials, we still feel confident that the two together with contingencies will be within budget. We'll know when we open the bids, we'll have much more information, of course.
I'll move to start the bidding process for bid number 825 and approve the specifications and set bid date for the construction of the residential underground electric service to be on the 29th of April at 2 PM.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Seeing no announcements or other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Announce the election tomorrow morning.
Please vote.
Please get out and vote.
7 a.m.
Yes.
City Armory.
Yep, City Armory, Madison, South Dakota.
Did we have a motion?
Not yet.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. David?